Welcome back to Bike Culture Hub. The 2026 Suzuki VanVan 200, a name that brings back memories of simplicity, style, and that unmistakable retro beach cruiser vibe. Welcome back to Bike Culture Hub, where today we're diving deep into one of Suzuki's most charming and unique motorcycles, a bike that blends old-school aesthetics with modern-day reliability. The VanVan 200 has always had a cult following, and now with the 2026 model, Suzuki seems to have refined everything that riders loved about it while subtly modernizing what needed improvement. If you're into lightweight scramblers, urban runabouts, or even small adventure machines, then stay tuned, because this little machine might just surprise you. Let's start with what the VanVan has always stood for. It's never been about sheer power or top-end performance. It's about freedom, simplicity, and accessibility. The 2026 model continues that tradition beautifully. Suzuki calls it the Retro Explorer, and that's a pretty accurate description. The VanVan 200 is a bike you can ride almost anywhere, through city streets, sandy beaches, forest trails, or even just down to your favorite coffee spot. It's that kind of motorcycle that doesn't intimidate you, instead, it invites you to just hop on and go. Powering the 2026 Suzuki VanVan 200 is the tried and true 199 cubic centimeters single-cylinder, air-cooled, SOHC engine that's been slightly refined for the new model year. Suzuki has reworked the fuel injection system for smoother throttle response and improved fuel efficiency, making it ideal for both urban commutes and weekend fun rides. The engine produces around 17 horsepower and 15 Newton-meters of torque, modest numbers, but perfectly matched to its weight and purpose. The power delivery is linear, friendly, and torquey in the low end, which means it's perfect for slow, technical riding or exploring off the beaten path. Whether you're climbing up a steep dirt trail or cruising down a coastal road, the VanVan's engine delivers that satisfying thump and reliable pull that's quintessentially Suzuki. Now let's talk about the transmission. The 5-speed gearbox is buttery smooth, and Suzuki has adjusted the gearing slightly for better mid-range response. It's one of those bikes where you can ride comfortably at 60 to 80 km per hour all day without feeling like the engine's being overworked. And since the 2026 VanVan 200 weighs in at around 128 kilograms, it's incredibly nimble and easy to handle, a perfect companion for beginners and seasoned riders alike who appreciate a simple, no-nonsense ride. Suspension setup remains classic, telescopic front forks and twin rear shocks, but Suzuki has fine-tuned the damping and spring rates for a more balanced ride over rough surfaces. Combined with those signature fat balloon tires, a 130mm front and a massive 180mm rear, the VanVan glides over sand, gravel, and potholes with ease. These tires don't just look cool, they're functional. They give the bike a unique stance and remarkable stability on soft terrain. That's one of the VanVan's most charming traits, it's the motorcycle equivalent of a surfboard with wheels. The braking setup is simple yet effective, a 220mm front disc and a 180mm rear disc with ABS is standard on the 2026 model. Suzuki has also improved brake modulation this year, so stopping power feels more predictable and confidence-inspiring. It's not a bike meant for high-speed braking scenarios, but for its category and use case, the system works beautifully. You can ride it through city traffic or down dusty trails knowing it'll stop safely every time. Design-wise, Suzuki has managed to keep that unmistakable VanVan charm intact while adding a few subtle modern touches. The 2026 model features a round LED headlight framed in brushed aluminum, giving it a slightly more premium appearance without losing the retro aesthetic. The teardrop-shaped fuel tank returns, now with new two-tone paint options that blend modern metallic hues with classic pinstriping. There's a gorgeous sand bronze finish, a classic blue, and a matte black retro variant that oozes 1970s vibe. The seat remains one of the VanVan's biggest highlights. That long, plush, ribbed seat looks straight out of a vintage scrambler catalog, and it's just as comfortable as it looks. You can ride for hours without fatigue. It also makes the bike extremely passenger-friendly. Add to that the upright handlebar position, mid-mounted pegs, and wide grips, and you get one of the most comfortable ergonomics in this entire displacement segment. Whether you're short, tall, or somewhere in between, you'll feel at home the moment you swing a leg over the VanVan. Instrumentation is simple, and that's part of its charm. You get a single circular LCD cluster with essential information, speed, odometer, trip meter, fuel gauge, and now, for 2026, a gear position indicator and ambient temperature readout. It's basic, but in the best way. There's something refreshing about a motorcycle that doesn't overwhelm you with screens and modes, just ride and enjoy. Suzuki has also introduced a small but practical change, a USB-C charging port right below the handlebar, perfect for navigation or charging your smartphone on the go. The LED taillight and indicators complete the look, making sure the VanVan stays visible and stylish even at night. Performance-wise, the 2026 VanVan 200 might not sound impressive on paper, but it delivers in experience. The low seat height of 770mm makes it accessible to virtually anyone. The lightweight chassis and wide handlebar give you superb control, whether you're weaving through tight city traffic or tackling loose gravel paths. On the highway, the VanVan will cruise comfortably up to around 100 km per hour. Sure, it's not a sport bike, but that's not the point. This is a motorcycle built for easygoing exploration and relaxed fun. It's about enjoying the ride, not racing to the destination. Suzuki has fine-tuned the exhaust note for 2026 as well. It has a deeper tone, a soft thump that complements its vintage look. It's not loud or aggressive, but it has enough personality to make every twist of the throttle feel rewarding. And because it's fuel-injected and tuned for efficiency, you can expect an average of around 35 to 38 km per liter, which means this little explorer can take you far without emptying your wallet. Speaking of wallets, the 2026 Suzuki VanVan 200 is expected to be priced around $5,499 in most markets. That positions it as one of the most affordable retro scramblers available today. For riders who want something stylish, lightweight, and reliable, without stepping into the higher price brackets of modern classics, this is an incredibly appealing option. Suzuki has always excelled at offering value, and the VanVan is no exception. In terms of build quality, the 2026 model feels solid. The paintwork, the switchgear, the metal parts, everything gives off that well-crafted Suzuki durability vibe. The frame and swing arm are designed to handle rough use, and even after a few years of riding through rain, mud, or beach sand, the VanVan tends to hold up remarkably well. It's the kind of motorcycle you can own for years and still get a smile every time you ride it. So who is the VanVan 200 for? Honestly, almost anyone. If you're a beginner looking for a bike that's approachable, fun, and confidence-inspiring, it's perfect. If you're an experienced rider wanting something lighthearted and stylish for casual rides or errands, it's perfect. If you're into custom builds and want a platform that looks amazing with minimal modification, again, perfect. The VanVan 200's design is so versatile that it can be turned into a scrambler, a cafe racer, or even a mini adventure rig with just a few tweaks. The 2026 model also benefits from Suzuki's updated accessory catalog, things like side racks, tank bags, a small front windscreen, and off-road style mirrors. You can easily tailor it to your riding lifestyle. It's not just a motorcycle, it's a canvas for your personality. Riding the VanVan feels like going back to the basics of motorcycling, no electronic rider aids, no fancy ride modes, just pure connection between rider and machine. That's something a lot of modern bikes have lost in the chase for technology and performance. But Suzuki understood that some riders want the simplicity of a mechanical, analog experience, and that's exactly what the VanVan delivers. It's a bike that makes even a short grocery run feel like an adventure. Thanks for watching, ride safe, and as always, keep the culture alive, one ride at a time.